Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So this is going to be the first episode of a new series that I'm going to be uploading on Sundays. That's going to be regarding Christian apologetics. It's a subject that I've liked for a lot of years. I have a lot of books, I follow a lot of different apologists, and I think it's very important. If you are someone that believes in God, or maybe you're an atheist, maybe you don't believe that God exists, I really recommend you to watch this video, to keep on watching it, and to keep also to watch the next videos that I'm gonna upload in the next couple of Sundays, because it's gonna be something that can change how you see your own life, and it could help you to really understand that you have a meaning, you have a purpose in your life. And I'm especially a fan of Warner Wallace work. He's a cold case detective, and I have two books from him. I have right here. This is the first one that he wrote, Cold Case Christianity, and where he analyzes the claims of the Gospels and the reliability of the eyewitness testimonies that we can find in the Gospels. And then unfortunately, I don't have a second book that is God's Crime Scene, where he analyzes all the arguments in favor of God's existence. And then I have the third book from him that is called Forensic Faith, that is pretty much a mix between the first and the second book, plus some very useful tips about being able to speak to others, how to speak to them, how to present the case for apologetics, and so on. So in this first video, I wanna do a little bit of introduction, why it's important for you to really analyze and to evaluate all the evidence that there is to support the Christian worldview. You see, apologetics is that scientific, that philosophical discipline that presents arguments, evidence, and logic and reasoning to support a certain worldview, and therefore to defend it from the attacks of someone that is against that worldview. And why does it matter? So why it matters for us to really understand that what the Bible teaches, the fact that the birth, the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus is a reliable eyewitness testimony. So something that really happened. That how can we, why it's important for us to know that there are good arguments to conclude that it's more reasonable that there is a creator, that God exists, that a supernatural being has created everything, rather than believing that everything is just a product of chance, or that the universe just came into existence, for out of nowhere, and so on. And the reason is because we acquire a purpose, we acquire a meaning. Now, let me ask you a question. If you would know that you have a purpose, you have a meaning in your life, would you behave differently? And I'm pretty sure the answer for all of us is yes. If you knew that you have been made, and that you have a very specific and a great purpose, we will all behave differently. And you see, the problem with nowadays society is that by putting God aside, we have lost our identity, we have lost the sense of purpose, of an ultimate meaning into our life. And so we start believing that we are the ones that need to create our own purpose, that we need to live life as best as we know to do it, or doing the things that we like, or as we think it's right to do. And let me do an example that Warner Wallace used also in one of these videos. Now, if you find one day you come back from work or from your university and you find this object on your desk. It's an object that it's pretty thin. It seems to have different buttons around, and has one side that seems to be like a screen. And you find it on top of your desk, right? So what would you think? In order to know what the purpose of the object is, what will you need to do? You see, you could use this object that is a mobile phone. Say here. You could use this object in many different ways. You could use it to, I don't know, to maybe hold a page on a book maybe that you may be reading, so you can use it to hold a page. You could be using it as something to cut food on top of it. You could be using it in many, many different ways. But what is the best way to know what's the meaning and what's the purpose of this object? You see, there is a little name right here. See? That is Samsung. So there is a written name. So in order to understand what this object is, the best thing to do is actually search for Samsung in the internet and see and look for an object like this and try to search what's the meaning. So what is the purpose of this object? And then on the internet you can find that this is actually a device, a mini computer that can do many different stuff, that all these buttons are actually things that afford you to do different things, and that you can make calls, you can write the messages, you can go on the web, so you can do a bunch of things with this phone. But you can only know it if you know what the purpose of the object is. And you see, our life is exactly the same. In order for us to understand what our purpose is, we need to ask the manufacturer. So we need to ask who created us. But now what happens? If our life is just a product of chance and billions of years, then we are meaningless. We don't have a purpose. And so, like this object, we may think that it's better to use our lives in a certain way. Maybe to cut some food on, maybe to use it as something for a book to hold the pages, maybe to use it as a step for something else. So we may use our own lives in many different ways, you see? But what's the best way to use our lives? To know that the manufacturer, so the one that has designed, that has created our lives, has made us with a purpose. And so we need to ask him. And that's why presenting a God for God's existence is so important. Because if we take away God, our existence is purposeless and we can't fully unlock our potential, because we can never understand and we can never reach the meaning that our lives have. Instead, if there is a robust case for God's existence, and therefore God is most reasonably the one that has designed, has created the universe, that has allowed life in the earth, then that means that we have designed exactly like this phone. And so in order to find our purpose, we need to ask God. We need to ask him. So we can pray to him, we can read what the Bible teaches us, and we can find our ultimate meaning. Because you know that you don't have been created by chance. You're not a product of billions of years. You're not meaningless. Your existence is not meaningless. It's not purposeless. You have a meaning. God has created you because you have a meaning. You have a purpose. You have a great purpose. And so you can see how different these 2 points of view are. In one point, hopeless, meaningless, purposeless, just live the life as you want, because then as you die, then nothing happens. This is the worldview without God. Second worldview gives a lot more hope, gives you the true meaning of your life. It gives you a reason to exist. You don't exist, you have a meaning, you have a purpose. There is hope, because this life is not just the only thing that there is. And so you can see why it's important to present a case and arguments for God's existence, for the reliability of the Gospels, for the fact that what's written in the Bible is really what happened. And so, in the same way as we can unlock the full potential of this object called mobile phone by searching on the internet what it is and searching and using it properly, in the same way, in order to unlock our full potential, we need to ask our designer, that is God, and we need to ask him to to show us what is our meaning, our purpose, so that we can start unlocking our potential. We can start living to the fullest. So yeah, this was the first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. God bless you and see ya. Bye bye.